Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina. It is Monday, October 28th. I am Blake, and there's Jackson in the back there, and we're going to do the one cast for you today. I have boated up here to right above the tennis court. I went out fishing this morning and we went a little bit everywhere. We went all the way up to the cable at the dam. And the best area we found was from this tennis court down to the shallows, or down to the narrows. I am using a double scud rig today. If I can get this untangled. So, I'm using an 1/8 ounce weight on a snap swivel, which is slid just above the line here. I'm still not untangled yet. There we go. So, got a snap swivel with a weight attached to it, a barrel swivel. We got about 4 or 5 feet of leader here to the first scud. That's a UV gray. And then another 2 or 3 feet back to a regular peppy gray scud. This is on 4-pound test. I found that whenever I was using the 2-pound test earlier, I was really breaking off. They are officially running 5 floodgates now. I believe that Beaver Lake crested about 3.5 or 4 hours ago. So looking at maybe only running a little bit more of the floodgates. We will see. Competed in the Veterans Benefit Tournament that Scotty's hosted this last weekend on Saturday. It was really fun, and I think they raised a good amount of money for the veterans, so that was good. The tournament was a lot of fun. It was a wet tournament. It rained the entire time. I think about the time we got done with the raffle and the auction and stuff, that was about the time it stopped raining. We have seen a lot of rain here in the last 3 or 4 days. I talked to a few of the guides as they came into the dock around 10 or 11 this morning, and they all said that they were dragging eggs, scuds, or a combination of both. I know that I've said it before, but whenever they run the floodgates, those scuds, they can't hold to the bottom in their normal hiding spots, so they kind of get moved up and uprooted, and they become a highly sought after food source by the trout while those floodgates are going. I also think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, that the warmer water spilling over the gates causes a larger number of scuds to produce. Right now I've got that weight just barely enough weight to tick the bottom. I don't feel the bottom the entire time, but every once in a while I'll feel a little tick from the weight on the bottom, and that's just about the amount of weight you want on there. This was the same method that we used in the tournament. The double scud rig underneath the bell weight on a split shot, or on a snap swivel, and we did really well. We caught a lot of fish. I haven't heard too many reports from the dock lately, but I believe we had somebody sitting there last night that was catching them on night crawlers, and he caught his limit in, I don't know, probably an hour or so. boat will not hold still. Ryan's birthday was today. We just got done eating some homemade spaghetti Mrs. Carolyn made, and it was delicious. And garlic bread, and Ryan's mom Lisa made a really good apple crumble cake, I guess is what you would call it, and I am stuffed. When we went out fishing this morning, we got out at about 8 and fished till about 10:30 or so, and we caught all of our fish on the scud rig, and we caught a few nice ones, a few in the 18-19 inch range, drifting from Lookout Point down to the Narrows. Oh, I don't know if that was the bottom or if I had a bite. I know a lot of the time that UV gray scud or the UV tan, whenever the sun pops out, sometimes you'll get a little bit more of a reaction on those UV colors when the sun's out, but I find that if the sun's not out, your regular tan and your regular gray and maybe even a darker olive or orange. Oh, and as long as I don't lose this fish, I believe I have one on the first cast. On the one cast. It's been a while. Like I said earlier, I was using this 2-pound test when I was trying to land these fish, doing this, and I was breaking a lot of scuds off. And 4-pound, you can definitely get away with whenever they're running this much water. The visibility for the fish isn't entirely there. He is a fighter, man. And he took the UV scud that I had put on there. We were just talking about that. All right. Both of those scuds, by the way, were size 12. Oh, well, I didn't get him up to the camera for a photo op, but there was one on the UV scud on the one cast. Alright, let's get it out there and see if we can make thunder strike twice. There's another one. Oh, missed him. I think this is the first time I've been on this boat and not had troubles figuring out how to work the trolling motor. We're finally starting to get along. Now, I don't know if that last hit I had was a fish or me catching the bottom. I'm going to make sure that I didn't, number one, get any moss, or number two, break off my scuds. And looks like both scuds are there. The bottom one just has an teensy bit of moss on it. Right now we're going through the middle, or the beginning of the Narrows here. This is always a good spot, I find, usually, no matter what bait you're using. A jerk bait or a jig or dragging a scud or an egg fly. Just seems to be a good spot that holds a lot of fish. Oh, that was definitely a hit. I felt him shake his head. The idea behind having that 4 or 5 foot long leader is it really allows the flies to come up just a little bit off the bottom from the weight, from where the weight is. And because if you have too short of a leader and they're too close to the egg weight, they'll drag the bottom and pick up a lot of moss. So whenever they're running heavy water like this, I really try to put some good amount of space between the weight and the scuds, and in between the scuds themselves. If they're running less water, a lot of the time I'll put the weight a little bit closer and the scuds a little bit closer together. That wind is really starting to beat up on me here. I was kind of out of the wind whenever we were up by the tennis court, but now that we've come around this bend, it is getting windy. Ryan told me that up there in Alaska, Phil's been doing really good on the 1/8 ounce sculpin and ginger jig, catching big rainbows up there. So I'm excited to see the pictures whenever he gets back. And that was on our Lilley's Landing sculpin and ginger jig, all the way up in Alaska. Sometimes if you don't feel a tick on the bottom, for a while, you can open your bail and let out a couple feet of line, and that'll get you back down there again. Right now we're coming up on the front part of Eagle Island where that flat comes off, and it's always a good spot. I'm gonna reel this in and check it for moss because it's been a while. And sure enough, that would be the problem. It is truly mind-blowing that these fish, even with the tiniest bit of moss on here, will not bite it. Oh no. We'll make this the last cast here. I've got some boats due back somewhat shortly at the dock. when we were fishing the tournament, we were coming up right to the top side of the Fall Creek Marina dock, and we were stopping our boat in the middle, and we were drifting the middle all the way back down to Short Creek, and that was the only area that we fished. I'd say we caught, between me and my partner, we probably caught about 40 or 50 trout, and our weigh-in weight was exactly 7 pounds. And once again, we were using the scud rig, so it was a real good day of drifting the scuds from Fall Creek down to Short Creek.